This is another video from Stand-Up Comedy, your host and MC. A video archive from 40 plus years of live stage comedy from the famous and not so famous. Here's your host and MC, Scott Edwards.
Hey, we got another great video coming up for you. This one features John Pate, very talented stand-up comic from the South. He's also a musician. He's done a lot of great stand-up comedy. This particular set was from the mid-'80s, and it was his first time at Laughs Unlimited. But he's a very funny young comic. I know you'll enjoy him. Ladies and gentlemen, John Pate.
Thank you very much. Hello, how are you? Where are you from? I'm from Alabama, went to Catholic school. Anybody here from out of town? Are you married? Have you enjoyed the show so far? Boy, there's some dumb commercials on television. Thank you very much. Good night. This is my first time in Sacramento. I really enjoyed it. Except you got some strange people up here. I noticed that. No, seriously, we were on the way over here tonight, stopped at a stoplight. Guy steps off the curb, looks into our window and says, "Did you know that if you cut off your arms, you couldn't pick them up?" See, I don't know how to deal with things like that, folks. I'm sorry. We were listening to the radio the other night. Same thing happened about 2 o'clock in the morning. Some weird announcer comes over the radio. He says, "Be humane. Have your cat spayed or neutered." I was thinking, did anybody ask the cat about this? He's sitting there one day minding his own business, you know. You're gonna what? A little bit of even swap, Jack. I guess you folks heard that John DeLorean pleaded not guilty last week. His attorney claimed he unknowingly bought a bottle of Tylenol laced with 60 pounds of cocaine. I'm not going to buy it, folks. I like to think of a lot of strange things like that. What do you people think of Teflon flypaper? Wouldn't it be great? Flies try to land on it, slide off, smash into the wall. Here's something I always wondered about. Why were George and Martha the last white Washingtons? Why is it people who throw up on a roller coaster always get in the front seat? Why is it every time you pass a bank there's a sign outside that gives the time and the temperature? What do they think that's going to do? Help improve business? Oh, honey, it's 42 degrees. We better put our money in here. Another thing I always wondered about, who took Bella Abzug to the senior prom? All right, 16-year-old Bella Abzug, girl says she doesn't shave her legs because it keeps her socks from falling down. That's a girl I want to be seen with. Are you in show business? You're not? You want to get your foot off the stage? I have a new idea myself. It's for a mouse trap that's so powerful it even catches elephants. I still have one problem with it. Any of you folks ever tried to get a dead elephant out from behind the refrigerator? Wouldn't it be great if that really happened? You were laying in bed one night, all of a sudden you wake up and from the kitchen you hear, I have noticed a lot of mechanical things like that have changed in the past few years. Things like cameras. First of all, they had the camera, you had to send away the film, get the picture developed, took 5 or 6 days. Then they had the famous 1-minute camera. Of course, now you can watch the film develop right before your eyes. What I wonder is, what are they going to have next? The camera develops the film before you even take the picture? Call it the Kodak Futuramatic. It's like, hey, George, you know what vacation me and Ethel's going on next week? I got the pictures right here. Yeah, it was a terrible trip. We're not going. First job I got when I moved to California was kind of strange. I was parking cars over in Beverly Hills. And you can tell rich people. Rich people are the ones that leave their headlights on purpose, just so they can tell you they turn off automatically. Am I right? I tried to help a lady with that one day. I said, excuse me, ma'am, you left your headlights on? She said, that's okay, they turn off automatically. She walked inside the building, came out 15 minutes later. Her car was setting up on concrete blocks. She said, what happened to my tires? Oh, the guy with the gun said they came off automatically. I moved out here from Alabama. I like growing up down south, except when I was really young. I didn't like kindergarten, because down south they use a kindergarten teacher till she dies. I had one that looked like she had about 20 seconds left, folks. Her name was Miss Fleen. She was a real senile old lady. She'd always give us something to do, then she'd scold us for it. We'd be playing with the little wooden blocks they give us, and she would look back there and say, well, don't put that block in your mouth. You don't know where that's been. And we always wonder, folks, how many places can a wooden block go? Puzzling to kindergarten kids. I remember everything that would happen would be blamed on John Pate here. I was always getting in trouble in kindergarten. I remember one day the principal came over with a loudspeaker. He said, students, I have an announcement to make. President Kennedy was just shot in Dallas. John Pate, please report to the office. Every school had a tough kid. We had a tough kid in our kindergarten. His name was Waldo Brissendine, really tough kid. He would come to class every day with a note from home, stapled to his hand. He had nicknames for everybody in his gang. Stinky, Rusty. They had a nickname for me. They called me Victim. But to be in Waldo's gang, you had to prove two things: that you were tough and that you were smart. And to be tough, you had to drink a quart of water through your nose. And to be smart, you had to say the alphabet backwards like this: ZYXWBUTSRQPONMOKJHGFEDCBA. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, no applause. Forced applause. I can tell the difference. Lady the other night wasn't too impressed with that. She stood up in the back of the room and said, yeah, big deal, the alphabet backwards. Let's see you drink the water, pal. Got on up to high school, though. I got my first man teacher. And all the guys in here know you cannot get away with anything with a man teacher, am I right? You would always catch us. We sat in the room carving our names on the desk, and we'd look back there and give us a lecture. Hey, you boys back there in the back, are you carving on them desks again? Boys, you know them things are made out of solid wood. What do you think? Wood grows on trees? A lot of people say schools are getting worse. I personally think schools are getting better myself. I remember when we were young, we were running around the classroom, throwing things, yelling, screaming. Nowadays, kids are all on drugs. They're real quiet. We couldn't wait to get outside for recess.
Another night here at Laughs Unlimited, a Sunday night of Full House. John Pate from Boston on stage. Hope you're enjoying the show.
We didn't care. I pulled it. I guess you folks saw it today. Pro football is back. Professional football, are we ready for it now? All right. You know, I like watching pro football on TV. I never want to go to another live game again. 72,000 people in the stadium. I have to sit by the only crazy man. About halfway through the game, he looks around the crowd and says, you know, if we all organized, we could probably overthrow Montana. And you try to talk to people like that because you don't want them to kill you. So I said, excuse me, sir, how much does that cotton candy cost? He said, oh, this ain't cotton candy. This here is fiberglass insulation. Have some. Stay away from me, please. Watch it. The other big thing down south on TV is professional wrestling. Any professional wrestling fans here? I love to watch it. Love to watch the wrestling shows. Not necessarily for the fights, but right at the end of the show, they have the promos for the upcoming fight, and they try to build it up real exciting so everybody will come. Friday night, Municipal Auditorium, Texas Chainsaw Tag Team Death Match. No one will leave the auditorium alive. Be there. Yeah. Isn't life wonderful? Oh, excuse me. Am I talking too loud? I'll try to find it. Life's wonderful. Just when you think you lost your last friend, somebody else will come up to you and tell you they hate you. Yeah, you stand in line at the bank for an hour, but when you get back out to your car, your dog's hung himself. You're barely eking out a living as a stand-up comic and Scott Bale's a star. Your barn caught on fire, but you managed to save your only cow. And as you both stand there and watch it burn, your cow explodes. You go into the florist to buy your girlfriend a corsage, but when you get back out to the car, she's hung herself too. Just when you think nothing else will go wrong, you run out of rope in your car. The parrot refuses to talk, so you give him to Ozzy Osbourne. Life's wonderful. I guess I moved to California for the basic reason a lot of people do. The TV industry is out here, and I like to watch a lot of TV. There's one commercial on TV that tells the truth. It's the Toyota commercial. The announcer says, "Get your hands on a Toyota, you'll never let go." He's right. You can't pawn that heap of junk off on anybody. I can try it. They have the pesticide fogger. You know the thing you turn on in the kitchen, leave the house for an hour, come back an hour later, your cat's dead. Won't use to carry him out, you know something's wrong with your car. So, you folks have to forgive me. I still have a little bit of a cold. I am slowly getting over it because I would not go to a doctor or a hospital. Do we have anybody that works in a hospital here? Good. Because people that work in hospitals are kinky folks. I'm serious. You can't tell me it's necessary to shave down that far for a tonsillectomy. I know these things. Don't try to pull the wool over my eyes. Where do they get their nurses from anyway? The rejects from Pizza Hut? Is that it? Just lay away from me, please. Phil Donahue got in trouble the other day on TV. You see that? I'll tell you why Phil Donahue gets in trouble. Man gets in trouble because he plays the devil's advocate for both sides. Am I right? There was a lady stood up in the audience. She said, "I don't care what you say, Phil. Childbirth is the worst pain that anyone can suffer." Phil says, "Well, I don't know. For instance, have you ever been hit by a train?" Phil Donahue does this too, by the way. I wonder if he does that at home. He says, like, "Marlo, aren't you glad you married me?" They recently reunited these twins on the show. Two guys have been separated for about 40 years or so, and they tried to build up all of these strange coincidences about the two guys while they were growing up. If you really think about it, though, the coincidences weren't all that strange. Well, it's amazing. We both went to high school. I flung geometry. He flung geometry. I had a dog that barked. He had a dog that barked. We both married women. They both barked. It's amazing. You folks have been a wonderful audience. I thank you very much for myself.